Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Um, I'm back, and basically just wanna. Good evening, everyone. I'm back. I just wanted to pretty much talk with you guys, and what I've been up to lately. I decided to come on and talk with you guys and what I've been up lately. So lately, I've been really working hard, and what I realized is that I came off a conference this week, and I've been doing a lot of radio interviews, um, especially with Miss Earlene Robinson, which I will be on this coming Wednesday at 9 p.m., which is Blog Talk Radio Show. And I'm appreciative of being on her show. Um, it's not my first time being interviewed, and it won't be my last. If you go on YouTube, my first interview was with a gentleman by the name of Mr. Ruben Ramos. That's when I had my other company called Nichols and Dines Bookkeeping Services. And at that time, that was my first interview. Was I nervous? Was I shy? No. Um, it gave me the opportunity to be in a position, in spite of where I came from, living in Albany at the time. But what it shows is that it's not where you from, it's where you at. What does that mean? It's talking about your mindset. From represent past, but in order to move forward, you have to put the past. You can't keep looking behind you. You have to look in front of you. So many people, they're more focused on the past. That's why they can never see the future. That's why they can never move forward. That's why they can never see what's in front of them, because they're constantly worried about what's behind them and who's behind them. So for me, I've been on Miss Earlene Robinson's show, which is her blog talk radio show, for like the last almost 3 weeks. So I will be on there this coming Wednesday, November the 8th at 9 p.m. The call in show is 563 999 3618. Again, I will be on Miss Earlene Robinson Blog Talk Radio podcast on this coming Wednesday, November the 8th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the number to call in is 563 999 3618. Now, what I've done since I've been on her show is I've spoken about who I am, Marvin Smith Jr. or Marvin Smith II, where I came from. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Spent most of my life, I would say 85%, well, let's say 90%. When I moved, me and my mother, we moved to Albany Projects on February 14, 1976. We moved there. And we came from Gates Avenue, which was in Bedford Stuyvesant. 561 Gates Avenue, never forget it. And we moved to 205 Albany Avenue, apartment 3F, February 14, 1976. And I didn't leave Albany Projects till 2014. People say, why do you stay there so long? I stayed there by choice. And a lot of it was also sometimes what happens is you get comfortable. Oh, low rent and all that. But at the time, I didn't take advantage of it. But every day you wake up, there's always an opportunity to do something great. Does that apply to everybody? No. For some people, just waking up, understanding the hell that they went through. Some people don't want to wake up. So everybody's situation is different. So what I'm saying is not universal. But what I am saying that there is always a chance for each and every one of us and each and every one of you to seek and find and understand that everything you're in control and you have the opportunity to change your situation, you have the opportunity to change your circumstances. So for me, I always read a lot. I read a lot, and I still read to this day. And the first book I read was Malcolm X, written by Alex Haley. Alex Haley was the same man that had the documentary, the movie Roots, which came out in the late 70s, I think around 1977. And Roots was dealing with slavery of our people who was enslaved who came to this country. And Alex Haley, which was a black man, he wrote the books about Malcolm X. Malcolm X was Malcolm Little. He was from Omaha, Nebraska. And so Malcolm Little later on became Malcolm X when he was in prison. That's when he was introduced to the Nation of Islam in prison. So when he got out, he met Elijah Muhammad. In my opinion, Malcolm X is one of the greatest men, one of the greatest activists, one of the greatest leaders. But Malcolm X to me represents manhood, what a man is, and what a man stands for. I say man represents manifestation, almighty, knowledge. I take out the K, but I put the N there, knowledge. So for me, this journey, this past week, and I would say the last 30 days has been very interesting. As I mentioned, I've been on Miss Earlene Robertson Blog Talk Radio. And I had reached out to her. I had supposed to come on before that, but it never happened. And then I reached back out to her on LinkedIn. And she created a slot for me to come on. And I told my story. Is my story done? No. Each and every one of us, our story is still being written. Why? Because we are the author of our story. Every day you wake up, you are the author of your own story, your own biography. So, with that said and done, I'm thankful. And what it shows is that when you are a student, we all are students of life. And one of my catchphrases or my coin phrase is life is a classroom. We all must pay tuition. So I said, well, Marvin, what does that really mean? Life is a classroom. What is a classroom? A classroom is a place where everyone comes to sit down and learn. But then I said we all must pay tuition. So you associate tuition with cost. So there's a cost for a lack of knowledge. There's a cost or pursuit of knowledge. Everything in life that happens to you comes with a cost. So life is a classroom. We all must pay tuition. Another one of my coin phrases is life. And I broke down how you doing? Summer retired 9. Wow. Thank you very much. You're my first one. Okay. So why don't you reach out to me? I'll be glad we can talk more. Why don't you reach out to me? You can email me at msmith, MSMITH, at S as in Sam, B as in boy, F as in Frank, S as in Sam, LLC.com. Or you can call me at 215-745-2713, and we can sit down and we can talk more. I look forward to talking with you. I look forward to conversing with you. I want to thank you. You're my first chat, and I wasn't gonna come on here tonight, at all. So, when I decided to come on because I listened to a young man by the name of Carlton Dennison. Um, but as I mentioned, I said life is a classroom. We all must pay tuition. Life is about learning, and like Rakim said, constant elevation causes expansion. I write my rhymes while I cool in my mansion. What is my mansion? Constant elevation causes expansion. Constant elevation, constantly elevating yourself will cause expansion. What is the expansion? The expansion means you must expansion outside of your circle to what? Meet new people. Constant elevation causes expansion. I write my rhymes. I write my goals. As I cool in my mansion. What is my mansion? My mind. My mind is my mansion because in the mansion, Christ said, "What in my house there are many what rooms, right?" So the rooms are what your mind in your mind, which is representation of a house, is a storehouse where we store different things. One is called your emotions. One is called love. One is called hate. One is called like. One is called dislike. So we are constantly storing things in our house. So the storehouse represent who, what? Our mind. So for me, the last 30 days has been very interesting for me. And matter of fact, going back to 2016, for those that don't know astrology, you take 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 6. In numerology, is 9. 9 represent new beginning. And I wrote a line, a passage in 2016 because what I was going through when I moved out here to Pennsylvania. And I was going through a lot. There are some people that know what I was actually going through. And I want to thank those people for being by my side. I want to thank Keisha. I want to thank Eddie. And I want to thank even my father who gave me some tough love when I was in the hotel. Um, and there was a lot of people that was concerned about me. But that was a period that I went through. So this past 30 days has been very interesting. As I mentioned, I'm been going on the Early Robinson show. There are many people who have really supported me. One of them is Bernadette, who I grew up with in Albany Projects. She was on the show with me. Miss Quanda Butler came through, a young woman that I met over 10, 11, about 10 years ago. She came on. Then Miss Johnson, she came on, and she blessed me. She's from Pennsylvania, but she moved to Houston, Texas. And all these people was telling testimonies about who I was and whom allowed them to work with me. And a lot of times it feels good to hear someone tell something about you. I don't get on here to tell what I do on a daily basis. A lot of people in my family don't know what I do because I'm a private person. Um, I'm kind of like I'm gonna say I'm an interesting character God created. There's so many sides to me. I'm like Tupac. I have so many things to me. A lot of people don't know I write poetry. A lot of people don't know I sing. A lot of people don't know that I can write a story. A lot of people didn't know I could speak like this. A lot of people didn't realize how intelligent I am. But then I realized the people that I aspire, that God gave me a lot of gifts, like He gave a lot of you. And that one of those gifts is the gift of what I see, gift of presence. When I'm in a room, I bring a lot of presence. I bring a strong energy. I can dress like a with a hoodie on, but I want to stand out. If I'm in a room, you're gonna see me, even if I try to dim my light and be quiet. But then I realized that God gave me a gift also that people want to follow me. They're gonna do what I asked them. God gave me the power of influence, and that comes with a lot of responsibility, man. Um, you have to be very careful when you have that type of power and influence because people will move based on what you tell them. And that's why I said that what every man, just because you're a man doesn't mean you're a leader. Leadership comes with skills and principles. So there's gonna be leaders and followers. And when you really hone on your skills and understand who you really are, each and every one of us have talent. Each and every one of us have gift. So these 30 days has been a lot mentally. I'm tired. And physically, even though I work out, today I'm tired. But then I realized something. On the road to prosperity and success, people are going to reach out to me. I have a lot of people to meet, and I have a lot of places to go. I have a lot of hands to shake. I have a lot of people eyes to look into. And for me, I want to thank Miss Bowser. She was my language arts teacher. And language arts during that time represent English class. And I remember she used to make fun of me, how the way I talk. Because I remember me and my mother had went down south. As I told you, I am a Geechee from the Geechee Gullah. Gullah is the language, Geechee is the nation. So I'm a Geechee Gullah. And if you've been around Geechee people, they talk. But what I did was I mimicked my cousin. His name was Hard Rock. That was on my mother's side. And we went down to South Carolina where we stayed like about 3 weeks. That was our first time getting away in my life. And that was my first time riding on Amtrak. So we went down. My mother was from Norway, South Carolina. But on her birth certificate, which I still have, even though she's deceased, it's a card. It says Orangeburg. My father's from Estelle. He's still alive. Which is Furman, South Carolina. So when I came back at that time, I really wanted to move to South Carolina. You know, for personal reasons. But she used to make fun of how I talk. Now a lot of you say, well, she was cruel for doing that. But I want to thank Miss Bowser. Whether she alive or in heaven somewhere, I want to thank her because that inspired me to where a lot of black men, a lot of black men are not versatile. I like to liken myself to the tiger. The tiger is the biggest cat of all the cats. He's bigger and stronger than the lion. He can kill the lion at will. The lion killed the wolf pack. Actually, the female lion is the more aggressive one. But the lion travels solo when he kills, and he adapts to his situation and he adapts to his surroundings. And one of the things about being a man is being able to adapt to situations. And when you learn to adapt to situations, a lot of times I talk about you have to plan things. Sometimes when you're in a situation, you have to be able to think quick on your feet. and live with the outcome later. And the more you become good at it, 9 out of 10, you'll win. But if you're not used to making those quick decisions, 9 out of 10, you'll lose. So for me, these last 30 days has been so interesting. Um, and it's go onto the blog talk radio and talk with Miss Erling Robinson, who's from New York, and have so many people come up and want to get through and call, couldn't get through because many people want to come up and share their testimony about me. So like I said, I'll be on this Wednesday. But this past week I was on a conference, interesting conference. As you know, I'm an accountant. I own my own practice and also work full time. But I own my own practice and I'm proud. I was on a conference with Mr. Carlton Dennis. His mother's Carla Dennis. They're both African American. Carla Dennis is she's a tax professional, not a tax accountant. There's a difference between the two. A tax accountant is a person who prepares the tax return. A tax professional is a person who understands the IRS tax laws and tax codes. Their job is to make sure exercising and understanding all the tax laws, which is over 82,000 sections and code that the IRS creates. Now you say that's a lot. That is a lot. But it's their job to help you understand legally, or how to use the law to your advantage. And I spoke about many people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. One thing I spoke about is as children growing up, our parents never taught us about cash. And I specify myself. A lot of our parents never taught us about credit. How many of you out there where your parents allow you to write a check or balance a checkbook or write checks to the bills, right? Because our parents are supposed to be our teachers. I don't hold my mother to that, even though she wasn't she didn't have all that. But growing up in the hood or growing up, and a lot of you could testify this, black and brown communities, that time it was called check cashing place. And then say you had a job, you didn't need a bank account, you just need ID. So when you went to go cash a check after who you call Uncle Sam and all the deductions were taken out of your check, you went to the check cashing place and paid another fee for them to cash your check. Then at the check cashing place, you had MoneyGram and Western Union. This was before what we have today, Cash App or Zelle or PayPal. You was also able to pay your utility bills. Before now, the utility company has a what? Online, you go online and pay the bill, or they have their own app where you can go through your phone and pay the bill. And at that time growing up, I don't think cable TV was around like that, like it is today. So when you went to the check cashing place, you could pay your utility bill, your light, and your gas bill, and your telephone. And being in New York, we had what we call Bell Atlantic, which is now Verizon. And we had a house phone. And the bills were very basic back then during that time. It wasn't that what it is today. A lot of you have like over 10 bills that you pay every month. So, as I mentioned, on this conference this past week, and he extended it, the cost was $300, right? But remember, I said that life is a classroom. Life is a classroom, everyone must pay tuition. Also, you must invest in your personal development. So there's personal development, there's professional development, there's life development. A lot of you don't want to pay money to develop yourself because you think you know everything. Or the people around you say that you don't need to develop because they're not developed. When you're around undeveloped people, you will remain undeveloped. If you're around lazy people, you can become lazy. If you're around people that ain't going nowhere, there's a likelihood that you won't go anywhere. That's why Christ said that what? Who's my father? Who's my mother? Them that do the will. Now that's from a biblical point, but I could take that on another level. Who is my father? Who is my brother? What it means is that what? A lot of you gonna have to look outside your family. Outside your family is where that help is gonna come. Because your family some of your family members or your family in general gonna keep you in a box because they've been around you. And family always are the one that people try to live up to their expectations. And once a person of your family puts you in a box, that's their judgment upon you. You'll work harder trying to please that person, only to tell you that you know what? They're looking for the day that you fail. Because in their mind, you never could change. You can never do better. Because in their mind, they put you already in a box. So when Christ said, "Who's my father? Who's my mother?" That's on many levels. I was back there during that time, as far as them going out teaching. And if you think about it on a deeper level, it's talking about outside of your circle or your family. Because the people outside of your family, people outside your circle, will be as if they was what? Your father and mother. Them, now it's talking about them. Them what? Them that's on the same path as you are. The them can represent, if you want to be a real estate investor, them people who are real estate investors can now become your mentors and will also help you understand how to buy wholesale, retail, flip, and own properties. Them that are into a healthy lifestyle. Them who are educators. Them who aspire to be musicians. So these are the people who are on the same path as you are. And a lot of time our help comes from who? People outside of our space, outside of our family. Is this for everybody? No. But there are some people who have gotten more help from people that are not their family versus their blood. So there's an old saying, blood is thicker than water. I don't know about that. That's just a saying. If I challenge that, that's just a saying. Blood is thicker than water. The blood represents family. The water represents what? The people outside the family. But a lot of times, the water is more thicker than the blood. The water is more trustworthy than the blood. The water is more down with you than the blood. So that saying itself, you can challenge that. And many of you are witness to what I'm saying. So this past week was a tax conference. But what was the logistics of it? We were talking about the 1%. Who is the 1%? In this world, you say the 1% is the rich and wealthy. Everybody's not the 1%. But what is the 1%? The 1% they think different. They move different. And one of the main that the 1% does that many of you don't do, whether you rich, even a lot of rich people, but whether you poor or middle class, they don't make excuses. They understand life is a classroom. Everyone must pay tuition. They understand that what? You have to invest into knowledge in order to get the outcome that you're seeking. Many of you don't invest into knowledge. What's the knowledge? How many of you out there have a library card? How many of you out there have the dictionary app on your phone that you can look up words? I'm not talking about Google or Google Assistant or Alexa. How many of you out there have the actual dictionary app? What about the encyclopedia app? Words are powerful, man, because words are the vibration. How many of you out there have a dictionary app? I have one. How many of you out there look up words? How many of you out there even read a book or a magazine or a publication? How many of you out there read? How many? How many of you out there are seekers of knowledge? How many of you out there understand that you need self-improvement? I'm talking about actual self-improvement. How many of you out there are inspired to be great? See, a lot of you say, well, I have to humble myself. I have to be humble. I'm going to say F being humble sometimes. To me, when you're in the spotlight and God gives you the glory, bask into it. Feel it. Hold on to it for that moment. Speak great while you're in that moment. Stop speaking down on yourself or saying, well, you know what? This is where I came from. No. You have to understand what the moment is. Bask in it. And I have a lot of sayings in my home. And one of them said, dream, create, believe, inspire, love. Now, I have another saying in my home, learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. So I have a lot of wise sayings, and I love knowledge. And I hang these things on my wall because this is power right here. So when I'm on that conference this week, it said the 1%. And I was like, wow, there's so much. And it's funny how the masses of the people are deceived in the thinking and this feeling about the rich. Because the media and the political parties have manipulated the minds of people, many of you, to the point where many of you have credit cards, but you don't educate yourself at all. How many of you actually read up about credit? How many of you know who Equifax or Experian or TransUnion is? How many of you know that? How many of you know who Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion is? They're credit reporting agencies. Your credit profile is your report card. How many of you know that? How many of you know there's other agencies under them like LexisNexis or Innovis, Small Business Financial Lending, Duns and Bradstreet, Core? They are agencies that deals with employment, where a lot of these staffing agencies like Robert Half or the Addison Group or Account Temps, these staffing agencies rely on these employment. Where do they get these companies from? Because they are companies, they are reporting agencies that record the first time you get a job. Yes, there's medical reporting, right? There's so many reports on each and every one of you, all of us. So a lot of this information is shared with who? The big guys. Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. What are they? These are consumer reporting agencies. These are the people whom, when you go get an auto loan, when you're going to get a mortgage, student loan, even an apartment, or even a job, but especially when you're going to get a mortgage, an auto loan, a personal line of credit, credit cards, charge cards, even when there's something called service credit. Meaning that what is service credit? When you go on to get, let's say you just got an apartment or you got a house, you need lights, right? So that's the electric company. You need gas to cook, right? You need water. So these are called utility companies. And a lot of time, if someone put a bill in your name and they never paid it and it went to collection, when you go get an apartment and you need to turn on the lights, the utility company said, no, you have to put down a security deposit. Or they can also refuse to service you. But they'll make you put down a security deposit. Why? Because somewhere in the past where you live or someone put the light bill in your name, they default or you default, and that affect you in the future when you going to get your own apartment or even a house. So when you're going to get an auto loan and you go into a dealership, or when you're going to get a mortgage, you go into a bank or a credit union. These institutions are pulling from where? You need to know these things. They either pull from Experian, Equifax, or TransUnion. And majority of the time, these institutions are mainly pulling from Experian, followed by Equifax and TransUnion. How many of you out there know how to read a credit report? And I'll be teaching you those things. How many of you have Credit Karma or NerdWallet or CreditWise? Or a lot of times through your bank, you can look at your credit score, let's say Capital One, which is CreditWise. How many of you know these things? How many of you out there know how to read a bank statement? So when I was on this conference for this whole week, which ended today, because he actually extended it 2 more days. It was from Monday to Friday, but he extended it to Saturday and today. And I made 6 of those days. I didn't do yesterday because I had business to take care of. But the whole idea on this conference was I was with like-minded people who, no matter where they was from, black, white, India, Spanish. See, the problem with a lot of you is you say, well, there's not enough of us that look like me. Well, I say to you, when you're on the road to prosperity, you ain't looking at color, you're looking at mindset. I'll say it one more time. When you're on the road to prosperity or seeking prosperity, you're not looking at color, you're looking at mindset. I'll say it one more time. When you're on the road to prosperity and success, yes, it is nice to see our people there. But if I don't see our people there, I'm not disappointed. I'm not hurt at all. If they're not here on this one, they'll be there on the next one. But what I'm looking at is who's the mindset of the people that's there. So it was good to sit amongst these people. Because everybody came to listen. Everybody came with an objective, and that objective was to learn how the 1% thinks. And it's basic how they think. The 1% always asking questions. The 1% is always investing not only in themselves, but they surround themselves with people who are smarter than them. I'll say it again. The 1% who I wouldn't say control the wealth. Put that aside for a minute. But the 1% who are wealthy. Now, wealth also come in mindset, not on hope, but on faith. Because faith without works is what? Dead. A lot of you are hoping and wishing, but you don't put the work in. You don't put the work in at all. So I say once again that to be there amongst like-minded people, and this was a conference, virtual conference, through Zoom. I didn't have to go to California on this conference. I just had to go to my office or at home, and I log in through Zoom, log in through the link that was either text to me or email me, and I log in. And I wasn't looking at one thing. See, this is what a lot of you got to understand. A lot of you, when you go to an event, not only you're looking for your own kind, but you're looking to see how many people are in there, how big the event is. Sometimes it ain't the number, sometimes it's not the size of the room that you should be looking at. But when you're there for yourself, you ain't concerned about who looks like you. You're not concerned about how many people are there because you're only concerned about yourself. You must do for self and learn self, like Marcus Garvey said. When black people can do for themselves, then they're not in this condition that they are in today. See, many people are still holding on to the civil rights movement. That was gone. It was in the past, it's gone. But a lot of people are holding on to that to keep you in darkness too. We've made a lot of progress in this country. A lot of you still complain, even Barack Obama was a president. You're complaining that LeBron James, who became the first billion-dollar athlete, and now Magic Johnson became a billion-dollar. He became a billionaire. Took him long to get there, but he's there. Congratulations to my brother, who I saw growing up and watching when he played for the LA Lakers. So what I'm saying here is that to be on that conference this week, I understand how the 1% thinks. See, life is a game, and a lot of you not playing it correctly. See, a lot of you don't believe you deserve anything. You don't believe that you deserve to be happy. You don't deserve to be rich. You don't deserve to have prosperity. You don't deserve to have success. A lot of you actually believe that. Some of it is because of your religion. Some of it's because of your upbringing and the story that you told yourself. So you sit around and you watch the news or you look at a celebrity and you say, well, I don't want to be rich because money's the root of all evil. Money's not the root of all evil. That's a lie. It's the lack thereof. Anything that you lack in life is something that you're going to want. Money's not the root of all evil. It's the lack thereof. There's a lack of abundance. There's a lack of resources. So these are things that influence you. I say money buy me the things that I love. So I said, well, what does that mean? When you have the mind of abundance, you don't speak that way. So being on this conference, seeing people from all walks of life, different nationalities that was there. It was great. It was something deep. And the reason why certain ethnic groups get ahead of others is because of their culture and where they come from and their mindset. And what I realized that this whole notion that the media try to put out there that Donald Trump and the rich don't pay no tax, that's a lie. That is a flat out lie. As I told you, and if you use common sense, see, common sense is not common to people anymore. If these people didn't pay tax, you don't think they would be the, you don't think they would have been a, you don't think they would have been arrested by now? Use your common sense, people. So the 1% is not talking about institutional racism. The 1% is not begging and crying or playing the victim Olympics. And that 1%, there are some rich, wealthy black people that you don't see on TV. That you don't, they're not celebrities and they're not on TV. Some of them live right amongst you. But you will never know it. Because your idea of a rich person is a person that you see on your TV One, stars, your rapper. Yeah, those are the people that they push on you. But there's a black man by the name of Mr. Kevin Smith, who's a venture capitalist. This man background, he studied with the college and studied to become an engineer. What is a venture capitalist? A venture capitalist is a person who goes around buying business. There's a difference between a venture capitalist and an angel investor. Kevin Smith, a black man, one of the most articulate, educated men, one of the most wealthiest men in America. A lot of you haven't heard of Kevin Smith. So there are a lot of rich black people, but see, black people have been duped and manipulated and controlled to think that what? Institutional racism, poverty. Yes, poverty is all across this world. It's not only in Chicago or Baltimore, New York, LA, Philadelphia. There's poverty in international level. Iraq, China, Korea, Japan. However, black people in this country glorify the ghetto. They glorify the hood. Yet they own nothing in our community. So the 1%, how do they think? It's simple. The 1% is always asking questions, always learning, always reading, or have people around them who are smarter than them, who are even wealthier than them, but understand prosperity and success at all levels. They don't make no excuses. So a lot of you, as I mentioned before, you've been manipulated and controlled by the media. And after a while, it's not hard to control and manipulate you because, like Malcolm X said, a man that stands for nothing falls for anything. The Lord said, what? My people were destroyed for the lack of what? Knowledge. Because they have what? Rejected knowledge. So a lot of you reject yourself. So as I was on this conference, it was beautiful, man. It got me thinking even more. Like, wow, I love this. I love being in this position. I'm not looking at how many black people were there that looks like me. That's never my concern. I'm looking at the like-minded men and women that are there. That's what I'm looking at. And I came away, I'm tired right now. So I've been doing a lot of reading and so much, man. But when you're on that road to prosperity, prosperity creates a different mindset because you can enjoy the fruits of your labor. See, a lot of you don't know how to plant, and a lot of you don't understand the Garden of Eden, what it was really about with Adam and Eve. The Garden of Eden represents the mindset. A lot of you are not farmers. What is a farmer? A farmer plant, he nurture, then it grow. That is symbolic. So a lot of you are not planting the right seed. That's why you're not growing the right tree. And off that tree, there are branches. The branches are just an extension of the root or the seed that you plant. So a lot of you you have the same goals every year. Most people, what their goals are, they want to lose weight and they want to make money. Right? That's what everybody's most common goal. Or they're trying to find love. Well, those are not goals. Unless what are you doing about them? Put love to the back burner. You need to first love yourself. Stop trying to find love in somebody else. Learn to love you. Learn to put you first. See, me, I have a law. I put no one above me or before me. I'm always number one. That ain't selfish. That's the position that who I am, that's the position I am. Everybody else come after me. A lot of you might have a problem with that. I don't care. That's how I think. That's how I think. Will I help you out? Yeah, I'll help you out. But I'm not going to rescue you. So like I said before, and I'll say it again, for this person that came through the night, Miss Charming Retire 9, please, thank you very much. I look forward to talking with you again. I look forward to speaking with you. Whoever you are, bless you. You want to promote me? Like I said, I have a story to tell. And I have something to share with the whole world. Myself. Do I know everything? No, I don't know everything. But this conference this week, the 1%. I said to myself, I'm part of the 1%. Because I'm a seeker of knowledge. But the key here is being able to execute. So a lot of you in situations where you're stuck. A lot of you stuck on drugs, a lot of you stuck on alcohol, a lot of you addicted to painkillers and different type of pain opioids and stuff within their fentanyl. A lot of you stuck in love. A lot of you stuck in bad relationships. And you don't want to leave them. A lot of you just stuck. And you refuse to move. A lot of you afraid. But I'm here to tell you, there's nothing to be afraid of. For the God that's in me is the God that I serve. God didn't give me the spirit of fear. And that's deep. But he gave me the spirit of prosperity and spirit of success. Is it easy? No, it ain't always easy. But it's how you get back up. Some people say, well, it ain't how you start, it's how you finish. No. A lot of times it is how you start. Because sometimes the way people, they don't start right, they don't finish. Just put in your mind that what? Even though I'm here, I know where I need to go. And nothing or no one is going to stop me. That's why Christ said, if you have faith, you can move mountains. Now that's deep. That's not talking about an actual mountain. What that means is faith, when you put in the work, whatever's in front of you, you can move it. I'll say it once again. Christ said, if you have faith, you can move mountains. When he said that went over a lot of people's head. The mountain represents what's in front of you, right? Now, some people's mountain is higher than others, meaning that what? For some people, it might take them longer to get to the top. And for some, they might get there fast. But if you have faith, which first believe in yourself and doing the work, you are able to move that which you are capable of moving in front of you. Look at Stevie Wonder. What's his mountain? He's blind. But it never stopped him from being one of the greatest musicians of our lifetime. How many of you remember Sammy Davis Jr.? He had a glass eye. One of his eyes was knocked out. He had a glass eye. It didn't stop Sammy Davis Jr. from being a great entertainer. So, if you have faith, believe in yourself, you can move mountain. The mountain represents what's in front of you. Some of y'all mountain could be drugs. Some of y'all mountains could be alcohol. Remember, I told you we are creatures of habit. Each and every one of us have an addiction. Maybe your mountain could be you're addicted to sex. There's nothing wrong with sex at all. Maybe your mountain is you're addicted to being broke. Maybe your mountain, you're addicted to trials and tribulations. So whatever that mountain is, you got to do the work so you can do what? Move it. Because if you don't do the work, the mountain going to stay right there. That's what it meant. So, as I told you, mentioned, I read the Bible back and forth. I could break it down. I broke down Genesis, the first chapter. They said, God said, let us make man in image. No, I reinterpret that. God said, let us make men in the image of man. Let us make women in the image of woman. That's why you have different nationalities on this earth. You have the Asian, Koreans, Chinese, Japanese, right? You have American blacks, people from India. And like, well, God is one God. Well, that's your opinion. But there's many representations of the creation. Think about it. So I'm about to end this live in 5 or 10 minutes. And I want to say that being on this conference, man, made me like, wow. Not only did I belong there, I knew that already. But just being there and being around people, man. And a lot amongst this conference, there are people that are gonna have doubt. That's why Christ told the disciples, go out to the byways and the highways and get the people. And invite them to this feast. And when you have a feast, everybody's gonna show up. Good people, bad people. Everybody's coming to a feast because everybody like to eat. But everybody that's coming to this feast is not coming with the same intention. Because a lot of you are breaking bread or eating at the same dinner table with the enemy that's right across from you. I'll say it again. The feast represents what? A gathering of people coming together. And a lot of you are breaking bread or eating dinner with your enemy. A lot of you are laying up. A lot of you share the same house and the same bed with your enemy. Now I'm getting deep. Who I'm talking about out there? So the same way Judas betrayed Christ, that was symbolic. That was just symbolic. That's all. You face that every day. A lot of you have partners out there, men and women, who you're in a relationship with. They're your enemy. Because they're your enemy to stop your growth. But you fall in love. And when you're in love, love will make a fool out of you. So, as I said before, that this conference was beautiful, man. It was beautiful. I enjoyed it. And what I enjoyed the most about it was the like-minded people and the knowledge that this brother shared. And Carlton Dennison is, as I mentioned, African-American, well-renowned tax strategist. And I enjoy, even though I do tax returns, what for me was about, I wanted to hear what this man had to say. Because I had to always stay up and improve myself. Do I need to improve? Yeah, I need to improve. So I didn't mind investing $300. Why? I can spend that in 5 minutes. A lot of you can spend $20 in 5 minutes. whether it's cash or credit card. Right. So by investing into myself, it also is a measuring stick for me. Okay, I've come this far. I'm successful. Now, how can I become more successful? What do I need to do to become more successful than what I am? And you got to put the work in. You got to keep reading. You got to read the right things. The right things. A lot of times when you're on your road to prosperity, it's important when you read the right type of books because I am free. I'm free to read whatever I want to read. If I want to read financial books, if I want to read life books, whatever book I want to read, I have that choice. Yet, I pay for it. I have Audible. It's only $15.89 a month by Apple, and I pay it. And when a lot of times when I'm driving, I got my audiobook. One of the books I got right now is called The Laws of Attraction from Esther Hicks. It's deep. I like things that challenge my mind. Yeah. So I want to say this. I'm going to shut this live out at 9:15 Eastern said, I want to say this. It's a beautiful thing. Keep striving, keep learning, keep being you. A lot of you, uh, play it down so much. Learn to tell yourself that you're great. Learn to tell yourself that you're unique. Learn to tell yourself that you can do all things. Learn to tell yourself that you are wealthy. Because it's easy to think of negative things. But when it comes to thinking something about yourself or what are your gifts and talents, a lot of you can't even say one or two things. You hesitate. But if I ask you what's negative about you, you'll tell me that in a few seconds. Because it's important of what you think about yourself versus what someone else think about you. Does what someone else think about you bother you? Yes, it does, because you're human. But don't let their opinion have dominion over you. Like the late great Sinful the P, he was a pimp. He died last year. He should say, "Live as long as you want, and want as long as you live." Yeah, listen to pimps. Yeah, listen to them. Yeah, Sinful the P, Freeze, Sharp, Gorgeous Dre, Rosebud, okay, Bishop Don Juan. These men got a lot to say. I'm a seeker of knowledge. Why are you surprised? Pimpin' Ken, I got his book. Think I don't know the game? Yeah. I read a lot. Carl Weber. I read nonfiction books. Zane. I read sex books. I love sex. I can write about sex. I wrote sex poetry. I attend sex poetry. Yeah. That's the little secret I let out about myself. So I read a lot of books. I read Thick Richard Grover. I read Robert Kawasaki. I read Donald Trump. Audiobook. Got his audiobook. Right. Oh, you read about Donald Trump? Because I don't go by my personal feelings. I ain't going by what the media say. They say anything. I want to know why this man is who he is. That would pique my interest. What made this man, what drives this man? Yeah, he could be an asshole. So what? How many assholes you know? But what drives this man? How do he think? I want to get inside his mind. Now, am I going to agree with everything he do? No. No one agrees with everything. Stop it. However, I can't let my personal feelings or what someone else say determine why I can't study him. Like I said, I look at the pimps and the hoes. Well, that's too much for you people? I'm a man of knowledge. I told you I studied Malcolm, Carter G. Woodson, the Miseducation of the Negro. Come on now. Andre Bear are the black inventors. Black inventors. I touch everything. You gotta learn. Hear people about the infamous Alpo, getting into his mind, understanding his mind. I read books, 48 Laws of Power, written by Robert Greene, 33 Strategies of War, Robert Greene, 50 Cent, The Hustler. I read all these books, audio books, man. Even though I'm a diabetic, but I'm a seeker. That's why I'm a step on people in the way I think. Come on. I try to get into the art of war book. I read astrology. And I do numerology. I read Black Astrology by Thelma Beaufort. The sign, I'm a Scorpio. So my life path number 7, which is seeker of knowledge. And most 7s are loners. My mother was a 7. Michael Jackson was a 7. Yeah. So everybody has a life path number. So don't be shocked. So I want to say, and I'm going to mention the late Sinful the P. He was a pimp. He was a pimp. He had his own YouTube channel. He passed away last year from COVID. And one of his favorite lines was, "You must decrease to increase." But he used to always end his show by saying, "Want as long as you live and live as long as you want." That was deep. So I say good night to everybody. I will be making more videos. I will be on the Earlene Robinson Blog Talk Radio Show this coming Wednesday, November the 8th at 9 p.m. And a lot of you, I would suggest that you tune in. What I was really talking about is credit. And I'm quite sure she's gonna have me back on there more on the show. So I'm looking forward to a lot of interviews. My first interview, you can look at it on YouTube. It was with Ruben Ramos with Marvin Smith. You can go look at that. And that's when I was living in New York, and I was in the studios of Community TV or Cat TV, which came on Cablevision. And I remember Miss Doris, who used to keep my daughter Safira. She go, "Mom, I saw you on TV." And I was on cable TV. So it was Ruben Ramos. You can go look at it on YouTube with Marvin Smith. At that time, I had dreadlocks. I missed my dreadlocks, and I had a blue shirt on with a blue tie. And I was living in Albany Projects, and that was amazing. So that was my first actual interview, and there's many more in there. I spoke at a conference in Tampa, Florida, but I still was living in Albany. So I want to say peace and blessings to everyone. Keep striving, keep rising to the top. Give it all you got. Let no one stop you. Let no one get in your way. Sometimes you gotta learn to cut your grass. A lot of you got there's so much stuff in your grass. You have to learn to clean your house. The house I'm talking about is your mind and the things around you. And you gotta let go. And you have to learn to love you and put you first. A lot of you put things in front of you. That's why you never get out in front of anything. You never achieve anything. A lot of you make the wrong sacrifice. Start learning how to sacrifice for you. Loving you. A lot of you not in love with yourself. You tell yourself you love you, but you're not in love with you. So when you go to that level of prosperity, feels good. A lot of you don't know what a peace of mind is. Now, when you get to that level, you know you're on the right track. Trust me. When you get to a place of peace, I'll say it one more time. When you get to a place of peace, now we got a conversation. Now we got a conversation. When you get to a place of peace, Peace, not pieces, Piece. I'm talking about Peace. That's what I'm talking about. So I say good night to everyone. I will be coming back on this week after the Earlene Robinson show to give a recap of what I talked about. Yeah, but please tune in. Please tune in this coming Wednesday, November the 8th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be on the Earlene Robinson show. I gave out the number earlier. I'm going to give out the number once again. The number is 563 999 3618. Please call in and listen to the show this coming Wednesday. It's on Blog Talk Radio. Um, and if you decide to call in, I look forward to hearing from you. And I say, peace, love. They say peace, love, and hair grease. But peace and love to everybody. Good night.